Welcome back, learners. So we were discussing about the distribution transformers. So as you are aware, this is part of your block 2 of operation and maintenance. This is unit 6, distribution transformer. Earlier we discussed in first session, we discussed the unit 4 of this block, which is introduction to power distribution system. And unit 6 we are discussing distribution transformer. Another unit in this block is unit 5, which is substation equipment and distribution lines, which we will be discussing tomorrow. Till now I have received only one fax from our sub-regional center, Ranchi, where Mr. Arvind M.K. Singh has ARD has informed us that 12 learners are there. They are participating in this video conferencing. But from Ranchi also we have not received any question from these 12 learners. I think these presentations are so clear that there is no doubt in their minds. But if there is any doubt, any query or any question in your mind, you please ask your question. Other than any of the study center or regional center, other than Ranchi, we have not received any call or fax regarding even any information how many learners are attending this session, or we have not received any question from the learners. So I would like to request the learners, if you have any query, any doubt or any question in your mind regarding these presentations, regarding the content of the presentation, then you can ask your question. The phone numbers of this studio are with the regional centers and the study centers, and they will be displayed shortly on your screen also. So you can ring us on these numbers to contact us to ask your questions, any type of question regarding these academic activity and the presentations. Now I would like to request Mrs. Chandra to continue discussion on the distribution transformers.
Well, we were discussing about distribution transformer failure, and we had discussed aging. Now we will come to the manufacturing defects. These result from improper or inadequate design, poor quality of material, bad workmanship, and poor short circuit withstand capacity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Gopal. Yes, please ask your question.
हेलो.
यस.
हाँ जी.
जी.
भोपाल से मोहन मालवी बोल रहे हैं.
हाँ जी.
काफी ऑफ ट्रांसफार्मर फेल.
आप अपने टीवी का आवाज कम करिए. आप अपने टीवी का आवाज कम करिए पहले.
हाँ जी.
जी. जी पूछिए, क्वेश्चन पूछिए. क्वेश्चन पूछिए.
हाँ हेलो.
जी.
Natural calamities. What is the natural calamities in transformer failed, sir?
Yes. Well, I was coming to that, but if you want to see them before, the natural calamity can be lightning. Lightning से काफी transformer fail होते हैं. Then it could be due to these floods. When floods come, these transformers fail. Lightning is one of the major causes. जब heavy rain या lightning होती है तो then this is like a natural calamity. You have no control over that, and the transformers fail if you do not have adequate protection on the distribution transformer. You should have a lightning arrestor, but usually on distribution transformers it is seen that lightning arresters are not provided. So that is one of the natural calamities. It could be due to floods, it could be due to water ingress into the transformer due to rains. So these.
Yes. Yes, Lucknow, you ask your question. Yes, Lucknow.
My name is Sanjeev. My name is Sanjeev Bhaskar,
Ji.
and we discussed about star rating of transformers
Ji.
and many specifications, standard specifications of zero energy standard regarding the transformers. But at the grassroots level, how we can implement these standards to save any accident, any electrical accident? Recently, there was an electrical accident due to the burst of transformer at Gonda, and earlier there was one accident at Uttaranchal also, which causes death of 4 and 8 child respectively at both the places. So, how can we implement these standards at grassroots level to maintain our transformers, especially the distribution transformers, and transformers which are sending for the repairing, because the repair transformers are not in the good conditions and standards are not adapted there. Thank you, sir.
Well, as you rightly said, that transformer can fail due to any defect, and you want to implement these standards. First is the procurement of the transformer. The transformer should be procured according to standard specifications. And as Mr. Verma said, we can make these specifications very stringent so that we procure good quality of transformers. Then we should erect them properly. If we don't erect them properly, then the transformer is likely to fail. And what are the improper clearances? I'll come to that. What are the improper ways or proper ways of erecting a transformer upon which the failure is dependent? Then failure is dependent on a large number of things, as I said, manufacturing defects. You may be having burdage on the lines that may cause a fault on the transformer. There could be many reasons. There could be draining of oil. There could be low oil level due to theft or leakage of the oil. There could be improper earthing. So you should earth the transformers properly. You should do tree cutting, improper tree clearance of LT lines. There could be defective breather, and there could be an ingress of moisture into the lines. There could be low dielectric strength of the oil or winding insulation.
Yes, Bhuvneshwar, please ask your question. Yes, Bhuvneshwar, ask your question. Yes,
what is the difference between this dry type transformer and oil-based transformer?
Difference between? You please repeat your question.
Oil-based transformer. What is the difference between oil-based transformer and distribution and dry type transformer?
The oil type transformer is one transformer in which the core and windings are immersed in a liquid, which is the oil. They insulate all the core and the windings, which are the basic component of the transformer, are placed in a tank, and oil is filled in the tank. So they are called oil-filled distribution transformers. Whereas in a dry type transformer, you do not place the windings in an oil atmosphere. You either have a resin type coating over the transformers. You coat the windings and the core with a epoxy resin, which is called cast resin dry type transformer. So you have a insulating material which is solid material, which is the epoxy resin. You don't have any oil medium for insulating the transformer. Whereas in the oil-filled transformer, you have oil covering the windings and the core. So that is the basic difference between an oil type transformer and a dry type transformer. That's why it is called dry, because there is no liquid in the transformer.
Regarding coming back to the question from Lucknow, the basic question was that how that standards can be taken care of in these transformers. But he's asking about transformers which already have been procured and which are working.
Which are working. That is what I am trying to say, that you should keep on checking the oil level. For example, if there is low oil level, the transformer can fail or it can catch fire. So you should check the oil, you should see that the earthing is proper, you should do tree cutting, you should see that.
These are the checks and the precautions.
Yeah.
And second part of the question was from Lucknow was that learner was very much interested in knowing that how to have the check of standards about the repaired transformers.
Repaired transformers, actually, when the transformers go in for repair, the repair is done in an environment which is not very clean, and it is not done properly. So the higher values are very defective in case of a repaired transformer. The repair is, not done in a company.
Yes. 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 Yes, please ask your question.
Hello?
Yes.
Is there any magnetic storm responsible for the failure of transformer?
Is there any?
Is there any?
There are some cases
Yeah, please
that
repeat.
many transformers fail at a time.
Please repeat your question.
Is there any magnetic storm responsible for the failure of transformer?
Magnetic storm.
Magnetic storm, it is, what happens is that a storm causes lightning. Usually the transformer fails due to lightning on the transformer. So you don't have lightning arrestor and the transformer fails due to the effect of lightning. So magnetic storm is also going to cause lightning only.
Okay. Mr. Bhardwaj, I will concentrate on the earlier question on Bhopal. It's a good question he asked. He was worried about at the grassroots level what is to be done. Transformers are failing, they go for repairs. And he also mentioned how to implement the star rating of the transformers. My suggestion would be starting from the first principles and from the fundamentals. Transformer procurement and repair is an engineering activity, and it must be done following the engineering ethics in this industry. For example, you must engage the operation and maintenance people may not be knowledgeable people who are familiar with the design aspects of a transformer. Therefore, whenever you procure a transformer,
Yes. Yes. Yes, Delhi, please ask your question.
कट गया भाई.
Yes, please. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please ask your question. The call disconnected. Yes, sir.
so so what I was mentioning that whenever you want to procure a transformer, you must engage a consultant who is a knowledgeable consultant, who would be able to guide you properly. He would prepare proper appropriate specifications to suit the duty for which you are going to.
Yes.
Yes, please ask your question, Delhi.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ask your question, please. Yes, please.
Hello?
Yes, please speak. Yes, ask your question, please. Yes, ask your question, please. Please speak. Please speak. Please speak. Ask your question. Let them decide.
Okay.
We will continue.
So,
Yeah, we were talking about
let me complete
electronics.
this.
Yes, Ranchi, please ask your question. Yes, Ranchi. Ranchi, please. I think call is disconnected.
Transformer.
Hello. Yes, please.
How can we distinguish difference between cell type and core type transformer? Umesh Prasad, Ranchi sector से.
Yeah, please repeat your question.
Shell and core type transformer.
Okay.
जी.
Yeah,
सेल टाइप और कोर टाइप ट्रांसफार्मर में सर मेन अंतर क्या है? तो कैसे हम पहचानेंगे कि सेल टाइप ट्रांसफार्मर है कि कोर टाइप है?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll show you this. You can see this picture of a shell type and core type transformer. आप देखेंगे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे कोर टाइप ट्रांसफार्मर है.
English, use English.
शेल टाइप में बीच में 3 लिम्स होते हैं
English.
और बीच वाली लिम्ब पे वाइंडिंग होती है, जबकि जो कोर टाइप ट्रांसफार्मर है उसमें ये एक रेक्टेंगुलर पीस होता है जिसके ऊपर वाइंडिंग होती है. कैन यू सी दिस? लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे कोर टाइप है और राइट हैंड साइड पे शेल टाइप है. बाहर कोर होता है और अंदर वाइंडिंग है, जबकि कोर टाइप में बाहर वाइंडिंग है और अंदर कोर है. कैन यू सी दैट?
Okay.
So that is the difference between a core type and a shell type.
Sir, you will
Okay.
discuss.
I think continuing. Okay.
Yes,
Yes, yes. So I was advising that whenever you want to procure a transformer, engage a consultant who is knowledgeable, who would provide, and give him a duty condition. Give him a...
Yes, Lucknow, please ask your question. Ask your question. Ask your question, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, speak.
Hello?
Yes, speak. Ask your question.
Hello, my question is, if there are two transformers,
Yes.
Yes,
one is on mains and other is on standby.
yes,
Normally, we put all the two transformers on connected condition, but as far as energy conservation is concerned, our energy auditor says you put off standby transformer. What do you suggest in this condition? Over. Thank you.
Yes, Delhi 2, please speak. Yes, Delhi 2. Yes, Delhi 2.
What is the chemical name of transformer oil?
Transformer oil.
pardon, what is the
Chemical name of transformer oil.
Hello?
I think
Yes.
we'll take the questions one by one.
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yes, please speak. Please speak. Sir, you were discussing about that.
Okay, I think I will finish that
Yes.
Lucknow
Yeah,
question
because-
first. That
Yeah.
advice is very necessary.
Yeah.
Then you can take on later
Yes,
on the
yes.
other question. So the first point was engaging a consultant, give him the proper duty conditions, your load pattern, how are you going to load your transformer, how the load will vary in your transformer, and also brief him about the distribution system. So he'll prepare a proper specification for you. At that stage, when you discuss with your consultant, you must discuss and finalize the specification. During the discussions, you can bring home this point that you wanted an efficient transformer, so a star rating must be specified. This kind of interaction will provide you the best of the specifications. So you get a high efficiency transformer. On the existing transformers which are failing, and you are getting repairs must be got done at only authorized centers or the competent groups which are recognized. You must recognize or approve. There must be an approved list of sub-vendors who are authorized for repair of the transformers. They must not be the local people. Generally what is done, especially maybe in the rural area, I would say, or on utilities like UP and Uttaranchal was given an example. It could be Bihar as well.
Yes, Raji, please ask
Yes.
your question.
Hello, I am speaking Vinod from Ranchi.
Yes,
Yes.
My first question is,
yes,
our Ranchi city is under the lightning zone.
okay,
Most of the details of our area is failure during lightning.
okay.
I want to know about what are the rating of lightning arrestor to be installed in DT and where to be installed.
Okay,
What is the breakdown voltage?
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So on the existing transformers which are failing, the repair should be done from an approved authorized centers, and this should again be done through a kind of a tender specification. You must specify that after the repairs, the transformer shall be tested and for its performance, and also during the repair you must specify the materials to be used, materials, winding, the oil, or the various other components where the repair is required.
Yes, Delhi. Yes, Delhi, ask your question.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, ask your question, please.
You can note down. all
Yes,
the
Delhi,
questions.
please.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, please ask your question. Please ask your question, Delhi,
Hello.
please. Speak, please. Please speak.
Hello.
Yes.
इससे देखो इससे भी हो रहा है.
Please ask your question. So, from Rachi, the last question we received was regarding that lightning.
I'll close down this one.
Okay,
Let
yeah,
us
yes,
also
yes.
actually take
Yes,
the
this
questions
question
one
is
by one.
very important.
Yeah.
So on the repairs, I was covering repair must be done from the authorized center, and you must have also good specification for repairs. You specify the material, specify the test also for after repair, so that the equipment is properly repaired and tested and then installed in the place. Wherever there is a requirement of replacement of a transformer, please ensure that this is not replaced by same to same specification. Now the transformer which was procured say 20 years ago or 10 years ago, at that time it was the state of the art technology, for example. Now the technology has changed, it has become obsolete in today's context from the point of view of efficiency as well as the other technological aspects of the life, the materials and the progress which has taken place over the period of years. Therefore, whenever there is a requirement of replacement of a transformer, it must be replaced with the state of the art technology today, specifying the star rating and as well as other requirements, and being very exact and precise on the loading, because earlier it was not so. Now the availability of the power, the quality of the power and the load pattern are more obvious and the awareness is more, and therefore you can be precise on your specifications and efficiency and get an equipment of the highest efficiency. So you can solve the problem of that grassroots level which the in the question from Lucknow he raised that question.
Yes, one was regarding the repair of the transformer. Another is that you should take preventive maintenance of the transformer. You should not act when it is failing. You should do maintenance before that. For example, if there is low oil level in the transformer, you should keep on checking the low level of oil in the transformer. If it is low, then it has to be topped up. You should see that the transformer is earthed properly. You should do pre-cutting on the LT line so that there is no fault on the LT lines which causes the transformer to fail. You should see the color of the silica gel in the breather. If there is moisture ingress in the transformer, then also it will fail. So you should see that there is no ingress of moisture. If there is an ingress of moisture, then you should take step to reduce that. Then you should also see that there are no loose spans on the LT line, so that whenever there is a failure on the LT line, it is reflected on the transformer. So preventive maintenance schedules which are given in the CBIP manual also, you should have schedules for checking all these things and maintain your transformer so that failure does not occur. One is the manufacturing defects and other defects, but when a transformer is in service, then preventive maintenance is also very important to prevent failure at the grassroots level. So that should also be taken care of.
Also, Anjali, these days a lot of research is being carried out on the online testing of the transformers.
You can do condition monitoring
of the transformers.
Which we'll come to later on maintenance schedules.
You must get in touch with the Central Power Research Institute, who are making lot of research in this area, and also the ERDA laboratory in Baroda. Get in touch with them. They have already brought out their publications, and the procedures etc. are well known, and they would guide you further.
So we'll be talking about
keep in touch with them and then maintain your transformers.
So we'll be talking about condition monitoring when we come to the operation and maintenance of these. But there was another question on lightning arrestor from Ranchi, I think, where he said that the transformers are located in a lightning prone zone. So then you should definitely install arresters, and these should be on the 11 kV side of the transformer, that is on the HT side, and these transformers are rated for 9 kV. Lightning arresters rated for 9 kV are used on the HT side of the distribution transformer. So I hope this answers your question. They are rated for 9 kV.
Yes, please ask your question. Puna, please ask your question. Pune, please ask your question. Is the call alive?
Yes.
Puna, please ask your question.
They are not speaking.
Okay, then we will continue our discussion. And another part of that lightning question was that what should be the breakdown voltage?
Breakdown voltage is not that important. It is the rating of the
arrestor,
which is 9 kV arresters are used on the 11 kV side of the transformer. That is on the HT side you installed this
The arrestor should be on the HT
lightning
side,
arrestor so that they prevent the lightning from reaching the transformer.
and the rating should be 9 kV.
9 kV. So if all questions are answered, then we'll move to manufacturing defects. We were talking about the causes of failure of the distribution transformers.
Someone asked the name of the oil.
That we can tell tomorrow, sir. I don't
So
know.
any question, if you feel that it is unanswered, then we will take such questions tomorrow, and if you are not satisfied with the answer, you can repeat your question. You are free. You can again ask.
Yes, you can. That's right. So we were talking about defects.
Yes, Chhindwara. Yes, Chhindwara, please ask your question. Yes, please, Chhindwara, please ask your question. Chhindwara, please ask your question. We are listening you talking, but you are not asking your question. Are your question ready? Disconnected, call disconnected.
Is the
Yes.
call there?
Please continue the discussions.
Okay. So the manufacturing defects can result from improper, inadequate design, poor quality of material used by the manufacturer, bad workmanship by the manufacturer, and poor short circuit withstand capacity. For example, the inadequate poor design.
Yes, Bhuvaneshwar, please ask your question. Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is, since we have been giving much more emphasis on the transformer, distribution transformer, LV side load balancing.
Yes.
So, on the SPDS system, if we have got much more LT-less transformers, that is single phase transformers,
Yes.
then what will be the fate of the power transformer for where the supply is being given?
Exactly, as you said, the unbalancing of the transformer is an issue in HVDS, and since we are using single phase, then the transformer load has to be balanced on the power transformer. All the phases of the feeder, then all the feeders have to be balanced. But that has to be done, because if you are going to take advantage of all the advantages of high voltage distribution system, like loss reduction and improvement in voltage profile, you'll have to try and ensure balancing of the transformer. Also, even in a LT system you should balance the load, but in a high voltage distribution system, since it directly reflects on the power transformer, that has also to be done. You cannot get out of it, you have to balance it. So we were talking about manufacturing defects. So one of them is inadequate or poor design. That could be in the transformer tank size. As I said, there could be inadequate clearance for free circulation of oil, because the manufacturer likes to cut costs and he'll make a size of the transformer lesser than what it should be. The safety margin in the tank size is reduced. The percentage impedance should be large so as to increase the short circuit withstand capability. What has been given in IS 2026 is generally 4.5%, but they should make it large so that the short circuit withstand capability is increased. And this also depends upon the size of wire used in the high voltage coil and the radial distance between the high voltage and low voltage coil. So the size of the wire should be higher and the distance should be maintained between the high voltage and low voltage coils. And sometimes this is reduced by the manufacturer to cut costs. Then improper use of aluminum wires and improper use of interlayer papers, the insulation used between the wires, use of inferior quality of wires for coils, poor quality of oil and other insulation material. All this reduces the cost, but then it will cause the transformer to fail. Then it could be due to improper workmanship, that is improper alignment of HV windings, they are not aligned properly, improper clamping arrangement leading to vibration and movement of the coils during short circuit conditions. It could be due to improper connections of the connecting leads to bushings, inadequate tightening of core. So if you have improper workmanship, then also it will fail. I'll come to this. Then improper structure of the distribution transformer. If it is not installed properly, then also the transformer is likely to fail. The IE rules 1956 specify the various clearances to be maintained when distribution transformers are to be erected. These clearances are what I have shown here. The HT bushing to ground should be 13 feet. The air brake switch fixed contact to HD fuse should be 7 feet. The guy shackle to ground should be 10 feet. And if the length of the jumper is more than 5 inches, then LT, HT pin insulators should be used to fix the jumper. So these are the clearances which are given in the IE rules 1956, and these should be maintained. If these are not maintained, then the transformer is also likely to fail. So the erection of the transformer should be done properly.
But these are under revision, you also informed.
Yes, these are under revision. They will come out as safety code. All the clearances, whether they are for the line or the transformer, are under revision, and these will be published by CA under the safety code. Then there could be improper protection of the transformer. These will also answer some of the questions that you have regarding failure of the transformer. What could be done at the grassroots level? If you don't have proper protection, then also your transformer is likely to fail. This could be the result of using defective or overrated fuses. Usually what happens is that to prevent the fuse from burning, you use a higher size fuse.
Yeah. Jaipur, please ask your question. Jaipur, please.
Hello.
Yes.
I would like to know about earthing practices of power transformers, especially in HVDS system in a single phase transformer where neutral wire is absent. And second thing, how many earthing should be done for single phase transformers in dry sand and rocky areas
where water is not present. Actually, in a high voltage distribution system, earthing becomes very important. In a single phase system, you should use a phase wire and an earth wire, because you should definitely have a neutral in that. Otherwise, you have to do proper earthing if you use the earth as return system. Sometimes you use the earth as return system, but it is very risky, especially as you say in rocky areas. Because in rocky areas, it will be difficult to get the required resistivity. So you must use either a neutral wire, and in rocky areas I don't think it should be allowed to take earth as the return system. You can use earth as the return system in areas which are wet or which have greater moisture in the ground, but not in rocky areas. In rocky areas you should definitely use a neutral wire, as I feel it, and earthing should be done for each distribution transformer in a high voltage distribution system, and also for the poles. Usually earthing is done on third pole, but I feel in a high voltage distribution system you could do it at every alternate pole also. So I hope this answers your question. But definitely in a rocky area you should use neutral wire for return, rather than saving on that cost. It could cost you in human life. And earth should only be used where it is a wet ground. So we were talking about improper protection of the distribution transformer. Usually people use defective or overrated fuse, or they consistently overload the transformer, or do not provide lightning arresters. Like I said, lightning arresters should be used on the high voltage side, on the 11 kV side, and of 9 kV. So that is a must if you want to protect the transformer. And even for diffusers, they should be of proper size. You should not place a fuse which does not burn and therefore burns
Yes.
the distribution transformer.
Yes, Bhopal, please ask your question.
What is percentage impedance of transformer?
Yes, for a transformer,
Is maintained by manufacturer?
4.5% is specified in IS 2026. For single phase transformers, to reduce the losses, REC has been considering 2.5%, but I feel that to have a high short circuit withstand capability, we should go in for 4 or 4.5%, which is specified in IS 2026 for certain ratings. Up to I think some 500 kVA, it should be 4.5%. And for a higher rating, say 33 by 0.4, the rating is the percentage impedance is specified in IS 2026. Generally, it is 4.5%. Yes.
I think their question is over, but they have not disconnected the call.
Okay.
So would you like
Should we
to
move ahead? Yes. So somebody was talking about impact of natural calamities, that is heavy lightning. One of the natural calamities is heavy lightning. If the HT lightning arrestor fails to divert lightning strikes, the HV winding can fail. Then there could be a bushing flashover due to dust and chemical deposits on bushings, reducing the earth's leakage distance and causing flashover. That is also like a natural calamity, because if you have this in the vicinity of some factory or some power generating station, dust and chemical deposits on the bushings could reduce the earth leakage distance. Then failure due to contact with birds and other animals. To avoid this, the HTLT bushing and the HTLT jumper leads from the bushing should be covered with tape insulation. So these are some of the natural calamities which can strike a distribution transformer.
Earthquake is another natural
Earthquake,
calamity.
yes, but
For earthquake, in the basic design of the transformer, the action is taken, and this has to be simulated. And only few laboratories like Central Power Research Institute, Bangalore, is having and of course the Bhabha Atomic Research Center. They have the facility for earthquake testing, as well as what factors are to be built into the transformer, especially for the bushing design.
for the power transformers
for the
generally,
power
that is
transformer.
taken care of in big size power transformers.
It is done. So that is also a natural calamity.
Yes. So these are the major defects which can happen with a distribution transformer. Now we'll go to transformer testing. The transformer testing is done to ensure that transformers are built with adequate electrical strength to withstand overvoltages impinging on the winding without causing flashover, adequate mechanical strength to bear the mechanical stresses developed on the winding during short circuits. The testing is done on the windings as well as on the insulating transformer oil before acceptance. Losses are tested at the time before acceptance in routine as well as type tests as well as acceptance tests. So the testing of windings of distribution transformers, there are many tests which are conducted. There is the high voltage test. This is done to check the dielectric strength of insulation between the windings operating at different voltages, HV and LV, and between earth of these windings, core and earth part of the transformer. It is also called the major insulation test for the transformers. Then there is the induced voltage test. This is conducted to test the dielectric strength of the interturn, interlayer, interdisc and interphase insulation. This is also called the minor insulation test. The high voltage test is known as the major insulation test. The induced voltage test is known as the minor insulation test. Then we have the short circuit test. This is done for testing the mechanical strength of the transformer in terms of its impedance parameters. Like we said, if it has a higher impedance, then it has a higher short circuit withstand capacity. and it is a destructive test generally, so it is a type test. Then ratio test. This test can be carried out for testing of the transformer ratio. For example, shorter turns can cause improper transformer ratio. This ratio is measured with a high accuracy portable digital turns ratio tester only after ensuring shutdowns and complete isolation of the transformer from the mains. Testing of oil samples. Oil is a very important insulating material for the distribution transformer as well as the power transformer. So we should be testing the oil as per IS 335. You do an inspection of the sample, you conduct an acidity test, you conduct an analysis of dissolved gases, an electric strength test, and there are some other tests also like temperature rise test, drying out of the transformer, open circuit and Sumner's test. So when we are talking of inspection of oil samples, then you see the oil for cloudiness, so that if it is cloudy, then there is suspended solid matter such as iron oxide or sludge in the oil. If it has a muddy color, then it has moisture there is moisture ingress in the oil. If it is dark brown in color, then presence of this dark brown color indicates presence of dissolved asphaltenes. These are molecular substances that are found in crude oil. Consists primarily of CHNOS with traces of V and Ni. If the oil is of green color, then it indicates the presence of dissolved copper compounds. If there is an acid smell, then it indicates presence of volatile acids which can cause corrosion. So these defects in the oil can be found just by inspection. Then we test the acidity level of the oil, and if the acidity level of the oil is found below 0.5 mg KOH per gram, then no action needs to be taken, provided the condition of oil is satisfactory in all other respects which we had seen earlier. But if the acidity level of the oil is found between 0.5 and 1.0 milligram KOH per gram, then the oil should be kept under observation. And if it is above 1.0 milligram KOH per gram, then oil should be treated or discharged. It has to be treated again. So then we see the concentration of dissolved gases in the transformer oil. The gases which are found in the transformer oil are hydrogen, methane, acetylene, ethylene, ethane, carbon monoxide or carbon. So these gases, if they are found in the carbon dioxide. So if these gases are found, then you can see from their concentration what is the condition of the transformer. If it is less than 4 years in service, then for example the concentration of hydrogen should be less than 100 to 150 ppm. If it has been 4 to 10 years in service, then its concentration should be less than 200 to 300 ppm. If it has been more than 10 years in service, then its concentration should again be less than 200 to 300 ppm. So these are the various values of dissolved gas in the oil which can give you an indication of the condition of the transformer oil. If the concentrations are more than this, then action needs to be taken. Then the breakdown voltage test. This is the most commonly known test applicable to mineral insulating oils, and it was originally developed to test the breakdown voltage of the oil. The minimum breakdown voltage of the oil for transformers up to 66 kV is 30 kV, above 66 kV and up to 110 kV is 40 kV, and above 110 kV and up to 230 kV is 50 kV. Then another thing which you see for a transformer is the minimum safe insulation resistance in mega ohms. These values indicate the safe insulation resistance, that is the IR value in mega ohms. For 66 kV and above, For 22 and 33 kV for 6.6 and below 6.6 at various temperatures, we have indicated the minimum safe insulation resistance in mega ohms.
So thank you, Mrs. Chandra, for these nice discussions. It was a very live interactions from the other end also, and such interactions and the questions really encourages us. So you please do ask your questions, your queries and doubts whenever these comes to your mind. Tomorrow we will meet at 9 o'clock. So remember that tomorrow's presentation will start at 9 o'clock, and there will be two sessions. First 9 to 14, this 9:45, and another 10 to 10:45. So we will be meeting tomorrow. Thank you.